What's going on, guys? It's been a while. Okay. Um, one of the key things about this channel and about me as a person is that I like to be based, and based meaning the acceptance of everyone, and everything. And just being positive and keeping a good smile, keeping a good message. It has very this has a lot of categories. Very different variations around this discipline, and we'll get into that. And specifically today, as of right now, we're starting a based podcast. Now, this podcast can have many categories, like I've said. But one thing we'll focus on as of today and right now is a little subside within the based mindset that I like to call gendermorphasiss. Gendermorphasis is when, that person becomes self-cautious, and instead of just accepting everybody, they have trouble, and they really struggle, and they set aside genders for different tasks. End up dividing the gender ratio, men and women. I don't know why. Instead of just accepting everybody as a whole, as equal, as one. For legal reasons, we do have our differences. However, just for mindset and the approach to certain things, I feel like we definitely put each other in categories and subside each other. I don't think we have to. First, obviously, nobody actually knows what gendermorphosis is, and we're gonna talk about that, and then we're gonna expand on that more as we keep going. I'm just turning the brightness here so I can see. Bam. And so, we're gonna take a look at some videos at first. But first part of this podcast is we kind of welcome the viewers, but we also, by the way, welcome to the Base Podcast. And one thing we do is we gather some questions and we answer them. I got the questions right here on the back here. And the first question is from Chris, the homie crew. And it says, my mom said I was in the wrong. Okay. He said, I was at least 25 plus feet from the door, and she stood there until I came. She said that he was in the wrong. Okay, Chris. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and break that down. If you got questions, I want y'all to go ahead and ask them. We'll get you on the clipboard. We'll get you in the notebook as well. So question for your mom: why are we doing that? Hey, guys, men and women, if somebody is more than 25 feet away from the door, let's stop waiting for them to get to the door. Just go through the door. I don't understand why we do that in society. I don't understand why the girl sits there and waits for, and mothers do this a lot, and wait for the son that's 80 feet behind them to come open the door. Just open the door. I feel like this is something that's been going on for a very, very long time, and it needs to stop. This is a classic example of a gendermorphosis. The parent puts responsibility on the child, and the child is just too far gone, and they put this responsibility on them, and they're not even self-aware. This guy's 25 feet behind you. If you don't, just open the door, go in, and then he'll be behind you. Why are you waiting? And especially when the temperature is freezing. If it's cold and you're rushing me and I'm that far away from you, just go in the door. I'm not gonna run to get to the. No, I'm a human being. Just open the door. You're a human being. Just open the door. Why freeze yourself for me to get there on time? For open the door. Just open the door. That's it. And this is a classic example, like I said, of gendermorphosis. This happens everywhere, especially with parents. Oh my gosh, with mothers, this happens too often that have sons, and they put this, responsibility on them. So, moral of the story, Chris, I don't think you were in the wrong. I say your mother should have just opened the door and let herself in, because you were way too far to even have the time frame to get there. And at that point, it's just awkward. Why is this woman just sitting in front of the door? So it gets awkward. So, Chris, relax, all right? Keep doing you. I think you were okay. Your mom needs to just open the door once in a while. Herself. Classic example of gendermorphosis. So in the second segment of this podcast, we look at some video examples. So we're going to get to that now. Some classic, we're going to look at some examples from TikTok. And let's go ahead and just see what we got here. Let's see if we can figure this out.
But guess wasn't 50-50. The dishes wasn't 50-50. The laundry wasn't 50-50. The cleaning wasn't 50-50. And that's an everyday motherfucking job. I come home and they got food on the table.
Okay. Let's stop yelling. One thing, and this classic gendermorphosis mistake, We yell a lot to get our point across. This is a communication mistake. Stop yelling. We don't need to yell. You can get your point across without yelling. Continue.
Got clothes on the bed, got shit everywhere. Every day I'm exhausted. I'm coming home, I'm cleaning my house, and yes, I do that anyways, but when it's just you, it's just you. When you are cleaning up for a man and his children and other people, it is a whole full-time job, and you don't get time for yourself, and that's why...
You shouldn't have other people in your household. It should just be you and your husband and your kids. Let's continue. I do got something to say, but let's just continue this.
And you're no longer happy in your relationship because you're coming home and a man is sitting on the couch because he's tired from work and you're making sure you're catering to him.
So what? So what? So what?
I don't understand. Where's the value in that?
Fellas, do not choose a woman who don't want to be a woman.
Are you delusional?
The modern day women, right there. I'm gonna go to work like you. Do you want me to cook, clean? So what? Yes, you're gonna cook, clean, do this and do that. And guess what? He taking the trash out, he fixing the house, he making sure this. But we have different duties, functions, and responsibilities. My wife don't want my duties. Just because I can see you cook the food and you can't see me clean the gutters, you don't even care about that stuff, but it still need to be done. Men have different responsibilities. So all this, I cook and I clean, and yeah, that's part of your function. But when your tire is flat, my function is to make sure you have a new tire. Your car need an oil change. It's my job to make sure.
We're not all mechanics. So I'm gonna just put that out there. We're not. That's a classic Gendermorphasiss emphasizes. We're not all mechanics. Just like you're not all athletes and know about the body. I do. But I don't push that on other men because that's not common knowledge, believe it or not. And being a mechanic isn't as well. So let's stop doing that. So that's an example of Gendermorphasiss. And usually young adults do that. But let's go ahead and... So this video right here, I really don't have too much to say. I feel like, yeah, we do have different responsibilities. And honestly, that's it. I don't...
Men, their entire world is solve problems. For men, problems are cancer. They need to be destroyed.
How to make a man happy versus...
Problems are for everybody, and they need to be destroyed in general.
For example, a woman never tell you what she's...
Can men and women ever be just friends? Well, the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche had a pretty interesting theory about this.
We don't need to live back into 1600s to prove a theory, to prove a point. Nope. We can just say yes and move on. That's it. I think people can just be friends because people are people, and they can be friends. Yeah, it's pushed that men often go after the woman, but there is a lot of scenarios where that's the exact opposite. So we don't have to look into 1600s. Nope, we're not gonna do that.
Who's done more for the world, men or women?
Women, cool.
Oh, okay. So I think both have contributed a lot to this world. Women give birth. Men give the implements to give birth. This is a question that I don't think can be answered. And I think this goes into different keys and different themes. And this is a classic Gendermorphasiss question. The young adult will always ask this question. And I don't get it. I feel like both roles contribute equally in some parts, not equally in other parts. But overall, that's how we wrap around the world. That's what it is. Next.
Here's the difference between men and women in a relationship. Men want to be acknowledged and recognized. Women want...
I think everybody wants to be acknowledged and recognized.
Do you know how girls protect their privacy when male dance partners might touch their private parts?
No.
I'm going to give you some brutally honest dating advice that I would have literally killed to have a big sister tell me when I was younger, but I know a lot of people don't.
You don't have to kill anybody for advice.
And this is why.
I'm going to give you the perfect example of what it's like to be a man. I was talking to a man the other day and he was like, I have a headache. And I was like, oh, what's your pain level? And he said a 3 out of 10. In my head, I'm like, 3 out of 10, like that's fucking nothing. But I didn't say anything. I validated his feelings. I was like, take some Tylenol, drink some water. Then I checked back in. I asked him what his pain level was. And he was like, a 1 out of 10. And I was like, oh, you're good then. And then he was like, but normally I'm a 0 out of 10. Mind you, he's like, rubbing his head, his 1 out of 10 rubbing his head. Like, are you fucking kidding me? As a woman, I'm baseline a 4 out of 10. If I'm a 4 out of 10, that's a good day for me.
People have different heads, different genetics, different things going on in their body. Also, walking around with constant headaches, not something to be proud of. You need to go to a doctor. You need help. And for him, I would be cautious too, because if you normally don't get headaches and you just start getting headaches, sun's off.
Men, their entire world is solve problems.
Weak men focus on women. Women focus on strong men. They can sense when a man is on his grind, locked in, making moves.
Fellas, just do what you want. The right girl will come to you at the right time. You don't have to go on this anime quest. Just be you. This is what we like. This is a big improvement. This is a big improvement. Yes, men and women do belong together. And that's something of Gendermorphasiss that we try to get the goal out of. That's the goal. Is for both genders to work together and be in harmony with each other. That's it. That's the big ultimate goal of solving Gendermorphasiss and being base. But there's multiple levels to it, so we'll get to it. But on that note, isn't really so much. There isn't really so much else to do. This is just the episode 1 of Gendermorphasiss. There'll be plenty to come, plenty of examples that I'll pull up, and I hope you guys ask some questions as well. This is not made to target women. This is not made to target men. This is to unite both of them. So, with that being said, we're done here, and tune in for next episode.